Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy KRYPTONIAN SAIYAN here, bringing you guys another Chainsaw Man chapter review from Chainsaw Man chapter 112. And for chapter 112, we got a lot to discuss, from Mitaka agreeing to make Yoru a weapon, to Denji being the person that Mitaka has agreed to kill, to Yoru revealing that the character who we thought was another one of the four horsemen of devil wasn't somebody who she actually recognized, which I'll be touching on later on in the review as to why that is and why I don't think that this is the case. And for our boy Denji, he proved that he might literally have that dog in him, but he's still a simp, and he's still continuing to be dehumanized throughout Chainsaw Man Part 2. So like always, we'll do a brief recap of the chapter, then jump deeper into the chapter with the review portion of the chapter itself. So the chapter opens up with Mitaka and Yoru looking at the shattered weapon on the ground, and Mitaka asking Yoru if she recognized the girl who stood in front of her and brought Yuko back to life and made her into a giant-sized version of herself. Yoru quickly says that she doesn't know her, which leads to Mitaka wondering if that girl could have potentially been the Justice Devil. However, before she can dig deeper into her thoughts, the girl in question appears to be standing with the other members of the Devil Hunters Club at her school, and the school council president, who is the head of the club, wastes no time recruiting Mitaka because he heard of how well she fought against Yuko. However, the president just made the biggest mistake of his life by claiming to be Chainsaw Man in front of Yoru when she asked him if he knows who Chainsaw Man is, and for whatever reason, he has a chainsaw cord on his chest, which is one, either likely a accessory that's added to him, or number two, this is literally the imposter Chainsaw Man that we saw in the last chapter, which that happens, that's absolutely crazy. Now, either way, since we know people are crazy about Chainsaw Man in this portion of the story, neither one seems crazy, but Yoru apparently has seen enough and moves past him right away, claiming to be busy. And when Mitaka asks her if she can really believe this man when he says he's Chainsaw Man, Yoru basically says the same thing that I did. He's got the cord, so he must be Chainsaw Man, which leads to Yoru threatening to kill Mitaka if she doesn't make her a stronger weapon. We see more growth from Mitaka as a character when she says that if only it was her, she'd have no problem enduring the situation she's in, but now that she's endangered other people because of Yoru, she can't have that on her conscience and will do whatever she needs to do in order to make a weapon for Yoru to kill Chainsaw Man. We then see Mitaka looking around from her apartment at the different people walking across the street, and we see just how easily we as humans can justify murder, because Mitaka, as she's watching people, allows herself to be coaxed in by Yoru. However, Mitaka has a line that she won't cross when it comes to killing people or animals, like when Yoru suggests that she kills the cat that happened to wander by taking it in and making it a pet, and Mitaka then suggests killing a criminal instead, but Yoru reveals that this plan will not work. The reason's pretty simple, and it fits in what we've been told before. Guilt is a major component in needing to make a weapon that's powerful enough to kill Chainsaw Man, and it's for that reason there has to be an attachment. Mitaka can't kill someone and make them into a weapon if she can justify it in her mind, basically. In her mind, criminals are bad. Nobody will miss a bad person per se, at least based on her childish way of rationalizing things, which is an indirect mirror to Yoru, who has shown childish tendencies herself, but most importantly, it shows how dangerous a child making a contract with the devil can be, even if Mitaka herself isn't in the most enviable situation. It's then that Mitaka sees Denji picking up cigarette butts and place them into a bag. For a moment, Mitaka reflects on how Denji, he might be a loser, but at least he's a good person, and she's feeling very guilty for even plotting on who to murder. But our boy Denji showed that he isn't just horny, he's also someone who knows how to make a quick dollar, because he's taking the cigarette butts, he's breaking them apart, he's pouring the remains into paper, he's rolling them up, and he's reselling the cigarettes to homeless people, telling them that they're American cigarettes, which I can't knock the hustle. That's pretty nice right there. And if you look at that roll-up game, Denji doing the damn thing right there. It's then that Yoru tells Mitaka that he might not be a bad person who deserves to die, but if Mitaka wants her body back, he's good enough that she can use him to make a weapon, which basically means that Yoru heard Mitaka's thoughts about how Denji wasn't deserving to die, and this is going to be a good enough of a guilt to make me a shiny new weapon, is basically the line of thinking that Yoru had here, which is very cold-blooded, and it's ironic because she's trying to use Denji to make a weapon to kill Chainsaw Man, who she doesn't actually know is Denji. Wow. The dramatic irony here was absolutely brilliant because it's setting up tension for us as readers. It's then that the moment that so many of us have waited on has finally happened. Mitaka and Denji meet again, and Mitaka asks Denji out on a date. The irony here is that Yoru first tried to use this idea of a romantic relationship to make weapons in the past, and now Mitaka seems to be diving into this concept by going on a date with Denji, maybe getting a little too attached to him in the future, and she plans to kill him. Denji has had the worst luck in that regard. The man finally got a date, but the girl is planning to use him, which in a weird way, he's kind of fallen victim to what happens with a lot of guys in the real world, where they take a girl out on a date, the girl has no intention of hooking up with him and basically sees him as a free meal, but in this case, she's using him to get a free weapon, which Denji, hey, it happens, bruh. Now, I'm gonna be frank here. I don't think the Justice Devil is the girl that we were introduced to, unless we find out that the Justice Devil was one of the four horsemen of devils, which I doubt, because it goes back to the eyes. Makima, her reincarnation, Nayuya, Yoru, and this girl all have the same eyes. That being said, this could be a misdirection, but I don't think that it is. Speaking of misdirection, Fujimoto is either going right in our face with the misdirections to subvert our expectations, or is going full-blown red herring with the class president claiming to be Chainsaw Man and having a ripcord. However, the fact that either of these could be true either means that the imposter Chainsaw Man might lead us to a short arc, and it's going to be very interesting to hear Denji's reaction to someone pretending to be Chainsaw Man, and it makes you wonder, does Yoshida know about this? And if so, what will his next move be? Because you have to remember, he's keeping tabs on Denji because he knows the man is horny enough to reveal his identity as Chainsaw Man, and now he's directly on Yoru and Mitaka's radar, even if it's not for the reason that he should be. They view him as being a potential weapon and not as their target, which again, the dramatic irony here in this situation is what makes the scene work so well, in the fact that we as readers know that Yoshida, the moment that Denji finds out that there's an imposter Chainsaw Man, is going to try and prove it's actually him, and Yoshida's going to have to step in. Now, the other thing that stands out right here is that we're continuing to see the dehumanization of Denji in the manga. When we were first introduced to him, the Yakuza treated him like a dog and compared him to a dog. Makima literally made him bark for her. He's been pimping himself out as a chair for women to sit on, and now you have Mitaka saying, yeah, he's between a criminal and a cat. Like, the dehumanization of our main character is real, but it's consistent from a writing tool, so I love to see it. The fact that Mitaka, Reze, and now Mitaka are basically using him when you peel back everything, though some people might fight me on the Reze thing, but it's another video for another day. I'll touch on that later. Just on the Makima angle, is still a woman using him for her own motives. Even Power used him at first to try and get Meowie back from the Bat Devil, so Denji's going through it right now, which that leads me to my chapter question. How do you guys feel about the constant dehumanization of Denji as a character? What do you think the end goal is going to be for Denji? While you think that over, click here to watch these other Chainsaw Man videos you see on the screen right now.